All right. Well, welcome, current IGC members and future viewers of the interwebs, to this session zero point 0.5 of our Masks campaign here at IGC. We're still waiting on one of our players to join us. He'll come in a bit later, but as of now, I am joined by Azur, Richter, Ryukin, and Rainbow as we are getting ready to start a new generation, their Masks campaign. So this will be sort of a prologue type episode. Those of you maybe familiar with the system, doing something a little bit outside the rulebook here. We're kind of acting out the questionings of how your team first came together, so that should be exciting. Um, Compared to the current timeline of where our journey is going to start next week, like I said to these guys a few minutes ago, we're starting about 9 months in the past. It's just kind of the start of summer, maybe midsummer, maybe school's getting out, maybe some of your younger heroes are starting to look forward to the school break and what kind of trouble they can get into with that. And we have in our group aliens coming to Earth and supervillains discharging their proteges. So let's ask some of our players where they are and what the state of their character is right now. Ryukin, what is Muscle Sheep doing this summer's morning?
This is before we meet each other, right?
Correct.
Okay. Muscle Sheep is currently in the park, probably chasing squirrels and digging through trash cans for food. And Muscle Sheep will eat just about anything.
Wonderful. Has Muscle Sheep at this point been doing any hero work, or is this kind of the start of his story?
This is pretty much the start of his story. He is a essentially genetic experiment that he was a throwaway, a step towards a more perfect creation, a test subject. And when they no longer needed him, he was thrown out. And so Muscle Sheep tried to survive basically on his own. He's got a nice box in this alleyway that he likes to call home.
I would say very good, but that would probably be insensitive. All right, Rainbow, where is your character starting off this summer's morning? Gotcha. So, in this central park of Halcyon City, an alien shapeshifter, a high school student, the disciple of a very accomplished scientist, and a anthropomorphic Shiba Inu have all just walked into each other. Sparks may have flown. There's some distrust going around, but that might not last terribly long, as this is a comic book and dead panels take up too much space. So immediately what's going to happen shortly thereafter is that something breaks the silence in the park, and that's where we get to Richter's question. Your team is going to fight a terrible enemy from your old life. Who was it, and what did they take from
It was probably one of her mentor's creation. Her mentor, Madame Sago Belladonna, was a little too obsessed with establishing plants as the dominant species on the planet. So, if anything, when she sent her plant-like creation to attack, it struck Jilem across the neck, like inadvertently taking and destroying a pendant that her teacher had given her.
So, a plant-like monster, you said.
Right.
Well, that would make sense. As we will go on throughout this series, you guys will viewers will come to appreciate Halcyon City and its man-made island. That there's no natural ground, there's no natural plant life except in these very specific greenway areas. So, only perhaps natural that this monster, once unleashed as part of an experiment, would gravitate towards this park, and how unlucky that these five teenagers were caught in its rampage. We might start our action there, perhaps. So, let's see, I'm envisioning some sort of like giant, massive vines with a large red flower kind of poking out the middle, acting as sort of a mouth, maybe tearing up the ground in the center. What does that look like to you, Richter?
Um, for first things first, Jilem doesn't know what this is. Like she wasn't privy to this little bio experiment, but it's not. It's like very tall, probably about as tall as if I were to give a comparison, as tall as Optimus Prime, but instead of metal, made out of bark, wood, stone. Um, its little its little arms are not that long, but probably about as like hmm, they're just little T Rex arms. But what's coming out is like it's oozing some sort of acid that's eating away at whatever it drips on. That same acid is also dripping from its mouth, and it's on a rampage, and Jim has no idea what to do.
So this kind of golem creature is. Oh, thank you, Ryukin. This creature is broken into the park. I imagine it's tearing up the grounds, throwing trees around. As Richter said, there's acid involved, and this sort of five-way uh, standoff that was happening between these teenagers, kind of mistrusting each other. Suddenly, you all turn and look at this monster, and we can kind of start the role playing there. So, threat has presented itself. You guys have the floor.
Alright, Ryukin seemed to have fixed that for me, so I think I want to say Emily probably came through on a run, maybe. We didn't do them too much, but I do know other sports they'd go run around the bridge or the city park and then come back to school, and that would be their couple miles of training for the day. So maybe she was coming that way from practice or something and kind of stumbled into all that business.
Gotcha. Alright, Azur, Void Spawn, Alien, met some weird people that he's not so sure about, and then there's a giant plant thing. What's going on in his world right
I think for the time being, he's just going to kind of stand back and see what these other people do. But he is going to just look around and make sure that there are no innocent bystanders nearby.
Well, that sounds like it might be a good chance to use our first move of the campaign. So that's sounding to me like an assess the situation. Is that what you would like to do, or is that just more of a flavor thing for now?
That's what I'd like to do. I just don't remember what any of the stats are related to each move.
All right.
Trying to find that in here.
For me, for the handouts I gave everyone, it's under gameplay, moves, and then basic moves.
Yeah. You roll a superior.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, very nice. That's a full hit right off the bat. So, if you have that guide open, you get to ask two of the questions of me that are listed there, or anything else you think fits along those lines.
Uh, Maybe for the first one, what here can I use to protect innocent bystanders? And how could we best end this quickly?
Okay, so Richter, is this creation of Dr. Belladonna, is it going after like not plant life creatures? Is it trying to consume more plant material? What's its objective here?
It's destroying anything it judges unnatural, and if it sees a person, it'll try to eat them.
So it sounds like it's maybe trying to tear up some of the bridges, the gazebos. It's really angering the gazebos in this part.
Yes.
It's going after the people around that were just up until moments ago enjoying their I don't know, let's call it Sunday evening or morning.
Well, if it's going to aggro the gazebos, I don't think we have anything to worry about.
True. But you asked what here you could use to protect people. Well, you're looking around and down at yourself and four other people here. This thing seems hungry for dudes, and you've got some people here that would make good bait for that. As far as what you could use to end this, or yeah, how you could best end this quickly, um, you need to isolate the creature. It's causing random destruction. If you could find a way to get it alone, seems like this one sciency looking girl is kind of making eyes at it, like she might know something about what's going on here.
You said there were bridges and stuff. Is there a river I could potentially try to lead it in?
Yeah, I would say there's maybe like, the little park stream type of a deal.
Uh, I guess I'll try to draw its attention over there.
What does that look like?
Um, hmm. Trying to think of some. Oh, I have a stupid idea. I'll go over there and I'll shapeshift into basically a giant talking metal mailbox looking thing. Something unnatural.
Oh man.
Okay.
And just shout at it.
So the rest, or someone saying something?
Just said, huh.
Giant mailbox.
And John
I
just
was,
goes
I
like,
was trying to think of any metal structure thing that would be unnatural in a park, so that was the
a stop
first thing that sprang
sign.
to mind. Eh, that's too small.
You could be a water fountain.
No, I like the mailbox. We've got P.O. Box Void Spawn here.
No, I do
Like-
too. No complaints.
John just like blinks at the sight of a mailbox just landing in the park. Like, what? What?
Yeah, how does that art panel look, Azra? As this is the first time you're using your ability, does your form kind of ripple and grow? Does it just appear? Does it materialize out of thin air?
It definitely is more of a ripple and grow kind of a thing. I just I don't have an unlimited amount of mass, so I just spread myself thin to make myself larger. So I'm a little squishier, but I am big enough to draw its attention, hopefully.
Yeah, so we get a nice couple of panels there of Void Spawn kind of taking initiative, going up and transforming. We heard what Jalim's doing. Muscle Sheep, Emily, what kind of face reactions would the artist paint for you?
A mailbox? She's not really sure what's going on here, but she'll kind of duck away somewhere to pull her costume on.
All right, let's do. I'm not gonna have this be a full move, but just kind of for fun. Let's have you roll plus superior for kind of an incidental assess the situation.
Is that it?
Wow. Yeah, that is, and both of you guys are pretty feeling superior right now.
I didn't need a plus for anything, right?
No, you rolled it correctly.
Okay.
Let me make sure.
Yeah, that little
Yeah.
pop-up threw me off at first too, but I think that's if
Yeah.
you have influence or something.
Right, yeah.
That would make sense.
So yeah, you take a moment. Things are kind of frenzied right now. You look around, and there seems to be maybe some restrooms, a little rest area with maybe a vending machine that the creature hasn't managed to get to smash yet. So maybe you duck towards that area. Muscle Sheep, what is your reaction to these events?
Sorry, I'm here. Just kind of not here. But Muscle Sheep, seeing this plant monster thing kind of erupt out of the ground, and, like he's been tailing the squirrel through the park, and this monster just like scared the squirrel away, and of course kind of scared Muscle Sheep a bit. He gets down on all fours and just starts barking at it very angrily, his hackles raised.
Yeah, that's a very good panel there. So now the scene rotates back towards this mailbox. You're trying to shout at it and draw it toward.
Yeah, that's the
Basically,
idea.
oh, sorry, wrong person.
Oh, you're good. Gonna. There might be a little bit of an overuse of moves here, but just because I'm trying to get some rolls going, let's have you do a provoke someone to provoke the plant monster towards you. So that would also be a roll plus superior.
Will do.
Can I get a plus influence roll for having my cat in my lap?
No, but you definitely have influence over your cat. Okay, that's a miss. So, unfortunately, you're shouting at this creature. You're trying to use yourself as bait, but despite your best efforts, it doesn't really react the way you kind of had hoped it would. Rather than chase you, it looks sort of behind you at the dog that is barking, and attention split, kind of focused, it reaches over and tries to barrel past you and start lumbering towards the remaining heroes that are grouped up. Who would like to interject next?
So it's who's all it running towards? Me and Sheeb and Gillum?
So you raced off to change in the bathrooms.
Oh, that's right.
But Muscle Sheep and Jillim and he's not here, but Highlight assumingly were standing there.
Jilam was going to try something that she's never tried before because she's thinking that her armaments aren't going to do anything to slow this thing down. So she's going to attempt to unleash her powers to restrain this thing from coming any closer.
What sort of effect are you going for?
It's basically vines will dart from the ground and hold it in place.
So you're kind of trying to restrain and entangle it.
Correct.
Let's unleash your powers then. That is a roll plus free.
Yep. What the?
Good hit there. It's not a full one, so there is going to be a little bit of wishy-washiness there.
Mm-hmm.
So on a 7 to 9, you have to mark a condition, and then I'll tell you how it's perhaps unstable. So what condition are you going to mark here?
Well, given that she's never actually done this before, because she's never really used her powers, I guess it would be afraid.
Gotcha. So I imagine Jalim kind of raises her hands, tries to summon forth power like she's not yet had to. We get
Correct.
yeah, we get this good panel of these really big vines kind of bursting up from the ground, kind of reminiscent of the creature itself. It kind of they flail up and kind of wrap around its legs, wrap around its chest, try and hold it down. It stops for a minute, but it's struggling, and you can already see it kind of tearing at the roots of these vines. And you stand there, it zooms on your face, and that's not enough. It's still coming forward towards you, and that scares you.
Yep.
Azur, your provoke failed, and this thing tried to rush past you, but it's currently being restrained. What's your instinct tell you to?
You're lighting up, but we can't hear you.
Sorry about that. You said earlier that this thing was like oozing acid. Was that out of any place in particular, or was it just like all over the body?
It was oozing it from its mouth and its little T-Rex arms.
I am going to. The arms don't seem to be as big of an issue, I guess, since it seems to be trying to eat people. I am going to drop my mailbox form and fly up at it and turn myself into a muzzle to wrap around its mouth and try to keep it from being able to bite down.
I have to ask you a question then. How hmm, is this within the realm of transformations you're used to making, or is this a bit more complex or dangerous than normal?
Uh, Probably more complex. I haven't really used my powers for fighting villainy yet. I've just used them for protecting bystanders and the aftermath of battles and things like that. So this is a little more unusual for me, yeah.
Well, let's have you make an unleash your powers roll to take the form.
That is freak, correct?
Correct. All right. Also, a part are able to assume that patch, wrap around it and kind of restrain its mouth. Problem is that kind of puts you of the acid, and just, even with your different biology, that's not a fun feeling. Might not be able to hold that for forever.
Duly noted.
Rainbow Emily is probably just busted out of the bathroom now in her superhero costume. What does that look?
Comes like you said, comes busting out. Maybe startles somebody who is actually going to go into the bathroom, and like quickly is like, sorry, sorry, as she runs by, and she'll pull her beatbox helmet on, since she wasn't sure if it would actually fit through the door, so she usually puts it on after she gets out. But she'll come skidding back over to him and look at both of them and ask, like, everything okay? Y'all alright? I didn't miss anything, did I?
Jemima will just give her a look. Just, what does it look like?
Okay, okay.
There's a giant plant creature being restrained by a muzzle and vines, but neither look very lasting. So what is Emily doing?
She will, can she try and shout at it? And as she shouts, it'll kind of distort her voice and turn it into something that might bother the vine, not the vines, but the creature itself.
So you'd like to use a sort of sonic attack.
Want it to hurt, Jellum. Would know that that would hurt her, though, at this point.
Alright.
Nope.
Let's see. I know that that's kind of within the realm of powers, but because of the flavor there, I'm going to have you directly engage. So that's a roll plus danger as you kind of saddle up and attempt to use your normal powers to engage this.
Okay, you said engage a threat.
Yep, that's a roll plus danger. Let's see, a 9, so another partial hit there. So, do you have the move guide?
I have my moves. Yeah.
Well, the basic moves, not yours.
But let me pull them up real quick.
Yeah, because what you're gonna need to do now is you need to pick one from the list of options you have.
Okay, so I pick a move.
So you have the basic move up, right? And in the handouts there underneath your characters, under gameplay moves, basic moves, you pop that up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You got it open now? Right, so under directly engage a threat, you see there's like some bulleted lists there. So because you only partially succeeded, you get to pick one. One of the ones that's important to note for everybody whenever you use this move, whenever you engage a threat, it's assuming there's going to be some back and forth attacking. So one of the options is to resist or avoid their blows. If you don't pick that one for any reason, you're going to get some damage back on you.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead then and see. My attack may not have actually done any damage, but it may have startled them enough to create an opportunity for somebody else.
Alright, gotcha. So, Emily moves up, uses the sonic attack. What's the visual there? How do your powers?
I feel like for it being a more sonic attack, it would just be like, you know how on radio towers imagery you kind of just see the three lines that go out of it when it's on?
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Okay, gotcha. So you shout out. You're using this new technology you've recently kind of cobbled together to enhance. It launches out and it attacks this creature. Kind of weird thing. Plants don't have ears, but this is superpowers we're talking about, and it still seems to really make it toss its head around and struggle even harder against the vine. It manages to break one, the one holding its left leg, and you got close enough to shout, it got close enough to kick. This creature kind of shuffling forward, starting to break out of its containment. Poor Emily just gets a stomach beat in with this thing's leg as it sends her flying. I'm going to have you roll to take a powerful blow. So that's you have to roll plus conditions, which you don't have any yet. So it's just a flat 2d6 roll. All right, let's see. That's an 8. Okay, that's a hit. So take a powerful blow is the one you want to roll low on. So you do take some damage here.
Okay, do I mark that somewhere, or is there anything like that I need to do?
Yeah, so on a 7 to 9, you have to choose one of the options there. You either lash out verbally, you give ground, or you struggle past the pain and wind up marking 2 conditions.
Where do I see that at? Okay, I
And
got it. I got it. Take a powerful blow. Okay.
you're on the 7 to 9 options.
I think I'll go ahead and kind of yell out at them and say, "What are you guys even doing? Why is there a dog out here?"
Gotcha. So the leg connects, you get thrown back. This thing's pretty big and strong, so I'm sure Emily goes several feet back, maybe hits a tree. As she kind of is sitting up, she looks over at this dog, which has until now been standing still and barking. Ryukin Muscle Sheep gets a shock as this girl is yelling at you to do something.
Well, I think if she's yelling at me to do something, I think he'll start bounding forward and bite at this monster because he's like been sitting there barking, and then it's like he hears a command like get him, and then he like sick him, and then he goes for it like instinctually.
Very good. Something to ask just for the flavor here. Um, Rainbow did choose to create an opportunity. Kind of the way I'm going to run with that for now is whoever claims it first gets to use it. Do you want to take advantage of that opportunity, or do you want to just attack him on your own?
I think I want to attack him on my own steam because I think really, like the other guys, are kind of. I really don't see Muscle Sheep as part of the group. He's merely just barking at this thing that chased away a squirrel, and he's angry at it. I don't think he's really understanding what's going on quite yet.
Gotcha. So I'm thinking that's going to be directly engage a threat unless there's something different in your playbook you want to use.
Would you call this directly engaging a threat in a terrifying fashion?
You could. Oh, sorry.
Because I don't think I'm terrifying it.
I was going to say you can try and make a case for it, but up until now it seems like you've been more scared of it than it's been scared of you.
Yeah, so we'll just go with directly engage a threat.
So that's a roll plus danger.
Okay. Roll plus danger. Situated bonus penalty none.
Nice, that's a full hit. So you succeed where perhaps Rainbow only partially did. So under that list of options there, if you have it up, you get to pick 2 of the options.
All right. So I'm going to resist or avoid their blows from when, because I'm basically just diving right in. I'm not going for the throat. So could you describe the monster to me again?
So it's about as tall as like Optimus Prime, but made out of wood, vines, has a flower on its head. Um, where its mouth is just like a little crack on the bark that's high up with like two beady little eyes. It has two tiny little like T-Rex shaped arms that are its mouth, and its arms are dripping with some sort of acid that eats away at concrete, concrete, metal, anything that's, it just melts it away.
Yeah.
And its whole body is just made out of wood.
And is it like a humanoid, or is it
It's a monstrosity.
like a
Like,
like an ent or a...
yes, like an ant, but with like tiny arms.
Yeah, tiny arms. Okay. So I'm basically gonna go for the leg. I want to grab onto it and just kind of thrash about and try and take something from them. I'm trying to either take out his leg or take away his mobility.
Yeah, very good there. So, this thing is perhaps not moving as quickly as it might want since it is still kind of fighting against some restraints. It's only barely bringing its leg back to the ground from the kick it delivered to Emily when Muscle Sheep's already tearing into it, probably using combination of his powerful arms and his dog teeth to hang on, and he's grappling into the leg. You hmm. You start to rip and tear, and this is a moment when perhaps some of you other onlookers are noticing this isn't a normal dog human, if there's such a thing as a normal dog human. He's strong. He's really strong. This thing is large and it's imposing, but even with just the force he's putting into it, you see the wood around its legs start to crack, where this thing's sort of hip might be starts to buckle in and fissure, and it starts to maybe fall lopsided a bit. Let's see, Azur, Voidspawn and Jalim, it's mostly broken free from the vines by now, but your muzzle is still fixed. What do you two wish to do?
Jalem will just shout at this muzzle shape shifting thing to see if it can bind the other leg, and while she would like try to somehow end it.
Yeah, I can try to do that, I guess. Maybe probably a lot easier for me to just take the form of a long, thick coil and just wrap around the leg and maybe some nearby object to try to bind it to, I don't know, maybe a gazebo.
So you'd like to make a trap with the gazebo there.
Yeah, basically try to get it to trip if it tries walking away with its good leg.
So I'm not going to make you roll for that. Let's just go ahead and have you, that will happen naturally. You're setting up this trap for it. I'll say it does probably start to teeter as this muscle sheep is still tearing at its leg. It's trying to get away from that. Um, don't know that it feels pain, but it's trying to get away from the destruction, and it will probably snag and start to be tripped up by your cord. So, what does Jalim do to seize this opportunity?
Um, Jalem will directly engage it by just running at it, grabbing something from her pocket, and and as she reaches it, just shove this little pellet down its throat. So that would be like a direct engage.
Yeah, let's go ahead and directly engage it, which is going to be an issue for you, and why I'm making you roll because you are afraid. So that's going to be a
Yep.
penalty.
So do I just have to have it marked and just roll?
Let's try that. I think that should work.
Alrighty. Did it work?
Um,
I don't see any negative modifiers.
Yeah, because that should have a -2. Oh wait, no, because I have a natural danger of +2. So I guess it
Right.
just counteracted.
Because, yeah, it's got a +0 right there, which would be correct with your character sheet.
Okay.
So even and because you rolled near maximum value.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So despite your fear at this creature, seemingly not able to be stopped by your powers, um, you marshal that. You feel maybe a sense of calm come within you because you might not have known about this experiment, but this is still related to your work and your mentor. You know how to fix it.
Right.
So describe how this direct engagement works.
So while the shape-shifting mailbox and the muscle Shiba Inu is binding this thing's legs down, Jalem just like grabs something from her pocket and just like shakes her head, just trying to snap herself out of her fear, and just runs. At a certain point, she jumps up and she pulls out what looks like to be a pill from her pocket and just like shoves it in this creature's mouth and just quickly pulling her hand back to avoid the poison, the acid burn. And she lands, trying to avoid its flailing arms, though. And she did take a sample of its skin.
Okay, so I'll take that, interpreting there you resisted the blow and you took something from them.
Yes.
Gotcha. So you got a sample of their skin and you managed to put the pill in. Does that have an immediate effect? What's that look like?
It starts convulsing as the bark, like for once, you know how tree bark is like a very dark brown when it's healthy? It slowly starts turning a pale ashy color as some of it like actually starts falling apart.
Gotcha.
It's basically um it's a plant killer. It's a plant killer agent. I can't remember the side.
Yeah, I gotcha. So, Muscle Sheep and Void Spawn, as you're holding this creature, you start to feel it's struggling a bait as it's losing control of its body, it's hardening, it's breaking up. The damage is starting to really take effect. Uh, hmm. Everyone that is not Emily, because you're kind of far away and picking yourself up off the ground, just roll me a flat 2d6. Yeah, you all succeed. No full hits, so only a few details here, but perhaps, Jilem, you'll notice this just because of your background. As the wood is hardening and cracking up, there'll be a panel where the flower that was on its head, this reddish pink flower, before it shrivels, the center of it starts to give off, is that pollen or spores? You're not sure, and it's being picked up by the breeze, and maybe before you can even call out, it's already wafting into the air away from this creature's dying form.
That can't be good.
Jalem just like looks down and then looks at the sample that she took.
Yeah, I'll say at this point, the creature's body has died out. It stopped struggling. This scene for now is calm, so you guys can interact freely.
I've got a piece of the bark in my mouth and I'm chewing on it.
Jillian just spit it out.
Yeah, it might have some of that stuff on it.
Like Jillian just like keeps staring at Muscle Sheep. Spit it out now.
She'll go over and try to.
It's like standing on 2 feet. So he like bends down, like kneels down, puts one hand on the ground and lowers his head to the ground and just like slowly puts it on the ground and opens his mouth.
Is it drooly?
Drooly?
Like covered in drool.
Well, I was gnawing on it, so
Yeah.
And
Vo-
go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, okay. Void Spawn, what, have you returned to your normal form?
Yeah, definitely. Once it had stopped struggling, I would have shifted back.
Jillian will just notice Void and just go, "What are you?"
Please don't tell me your power is to transform into a mailbox.
My power is to transform into anything I please.
Oh.
Okay, that's much better.
And Jillian will pull out like a handkerchief and go over to like to the spot where she dropped the wood. Pick it up with the handkerchief and just like pat Sheeb on the head. You're like, good boy.
he's gonna be kind of growling while you do it, and he's not gonna he's gonna say something like bad.
Yeah, I know. And Jillian just like, well, that was a thing. I'm going now. And she'll just turn around. Before and like as she's a few feet away, she'll tap like her neck and realize that something's missing.
Are you guys going to let her leave?
Muscle Sheep is gonna be like just continually growling at shoot, I forget your hero name already.
Jilem.
You bad.
Jilem doesn't. If she heard him, she's not paying attention because now she's actively panicking that something's missing. Where is it? Where is it?
You're about to say something, Hazard?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I would have tried asking Jalem about what that pill was.
And Jones, it's an anti-bio pill. Basically, it kills whatever eats it. But where is it? Where's my pendant? No, 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 no. I was like, she runs back into the park looking for it.
So, go ahead.
I think I need to whisper something.
For me, you said that perhaps your pendant dropped when the creature like first attacked you. What was that?
Yeah. It was something that her mentor gave her, and her mentor said, "Always keep that safe, no matter what."
Right,
So the fact that
gotcha.
it's gone is a problem.
Yeah, and yes, Muscle Sheep can definitely sniff around and find.
So after about a minute of Jilem kind of searching around the park, she looks up and you can kind of see like Muscle Sheep like coming out of like some tall grass with this kind of like shiny little spark of something in his mouth, and he's looking like right at her.
And it's like, and just for reference sake, it's just a golden leaf on a chain. And
He's got like that look a dog has when they've got something in their mouth that they don't want to show you.
like, what? Give me that! And Jilem will actually just run over to him.
And in typical dog fashion, he will start running around. Not away, just, kind of like around her as if playing.
Oh yeah, we get a good panel or two of just this big, maybe ring around the rosy of Jillim chasing Muscle Sheep running very Looney Tunesy around the other.
And I imagine that, like we're running like in the background and every panel, every like, I don't know, fourth or fifth panel, it cuts back to us. But like between then, like Beatbox and Void Spawn, like kind of talk to each other like, what was that about? You can do your thing.
Yeah. And also, it shows that Jilem is mainly spent her time in the lab as she tires out very quickly. Well, not very quickly, but she can't keep up.
Do Void Spawn and Emily have any thoughts or interactions during these panels?
She'll be maybe grilling Void Spawn a little bit about like, really? You chose to be a mailbox? You could be anything like you wanted to be, you could be a mailbox. And she might pause for a minute and see that in the background of their conversation that Jillem's kind of slowed down, and she'll do one of those really sudden whistles that people do to get a dog's attention to make them stop, and hope that that would be enough that Jillem head over there and grab it from him.
Azure, first things first, then. You chose to become a mailbox?
I would just reply, well, did it draw your attention or did it not?
Hang on. The dog's having a nightmare.
Oh.
Buddy?
I mean, it could have been worse, but like, a mailbox?
Have you spent much time since being on Earth observing human methods of postal delivery?
Probably not. I wouldn't even know what it is. I would just know that I've seen them all around the city.
Okay.
So it was. Welcome back. So it's a impromptu transformation then.
Yes, definitely.
So was Emily trying to whistle at Jalim or the Enu?
She was whistling at the dog, but kind of in a way to give, hopefully, Jillem a bit of an advantage, since she looked like, having run around them several times, she looked like she had tired out a little bit, so she was hoping that the whistle was enough to make Sheeb stop, so Jillem can catch up.
So Muscle Sheep, you just got whistled at. Hey, nice.
I say Rainbow should roll 2d6 with me.
Ooh, okay.
I got a 5.
Before you do that, there is a... So you do not want to listen to this whistle.
Yeah, I guess I'm rejecting her influence. I don't know.
No, there's a move called provoke someone. So we're gonna have Emily roll to provoke you.
Okay.
I roll.
So let me read it. When you provoke someone susceptible to your words, well, this is a whistle, you have to say what you're trying to get them to do, and you roll plus superior.
Okay, I'm just trying to get him to kind of. Like, if you ever see a dog that's out running around and their owner's trying to run after them, that noise that gets them to kind of, like, stop and go, oh shit, and pause, that's kind of the noise she was trying to make for sheep.
Like the two finger whistle, or the.
Yeah, the really, like, the one that makes, like, their ears perk up, the two-finger whistle.
Gotcha.
So plus superior.
She's really good at manipulating sound, if you can't tell.
So on a 7 to 9, you have to choose if they do it at a team, where I'm not gonna. So actually, you don't get to pick that one because I'm not doing team for this session because you're not a team. So if they don't do it, you mark a condition. So Ryukin, you either obey or that's gonna affect you emotionally somehow.
I think, like, Muscle Sheep is off in the background, kind of still running around Jillim. And then he hears this whistle. And instinctually, he just, like, comes barreling towards Beatbox. And it almost looks like he's going to tackle her. But as soon as he gets close, he just stops, stands up on his hind legs, like a human. And he's just got, like, this huge muscle, kind of profile. And then he's like looking directly into Boombox's. I don't know. Are your eyes covered from your mask thing?
Yeah,
But he's just looking.
I'd say so.
He's just looking directly at her, very intimidating. And then he just drops it and just starts panting. He's like, "Was fun."
Thanks. She'll kind of hold the thing out.
I didn't drop it on you. I just dropped it on the ground.
Still gross and slobbery.
Oh yes, definitely.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Boy?
His tail starts wagging. That's all that changes.
Like, and Jillian just like comes by like breathing heavy, like where's my pendant? Oh,
Here you go.
thank you. And she just falls on a knee.
You gotta know how to speak dog, I guess.
I'll put that on the list.
Okay. Do you have an inhaler or anything?
And Jilem doesn't answer, as like she's literally just now on her face, passed out. Yeah, she has no stamina.
Gotcha. So I think that's a good. Did you want to do anything else with the pendant right now, or is that kind of a scene close?
I didn't want to do anything with it.
Richter.
Did Discord just have a derp?
It might have. I didn't hear you.
Okay, so what I said was like Jilem is just like breathing heavily to the point where like she stops moving.
Gotcha.
And she's just like sitting there, just like on a knee, gripping her pendant.
Well, I think that's gonna be where you get those, 3 increasingly black panels that signals a scene change. We're gonna take a 10-minute break here in just a second as I say we'll get a transitional shot on the next page of those spores being carried by the wind, going down one street, then another, and then down a thoroughfare. People walking on the streets, cars going past. There's those individual potted trees, kind of planted along the road. The spores impact the branches, immediately attach, start festering. The tree starts growing. And then that's the end of issue 1. And we'll take our 10-minute break.
Alrighty.
Okay, so before we get back into the action, not going to fully answer this question, but want you guys to go ahead and talk about it. So one of the questions I picked out for everyone to answer is, all things considered, we did well and impressed an established hero. Who was it?
Pepsi Man.
Oh God, no.
You mean like at the fight we just did, or?
Not necessarily at the fight we did, but at some point.
So I'll go ahead and say no, not at this fight. In the upcoming scenes, you're going to impress a hero, and I'm going to control the situation there. But you guys, what is the hero? What professional hero do you guys want to have impressed?
Like, if we're in a comic, we're talking, like, we're formed already. And we're like, hey, remember that situation with X hero? And we get to create the hero, essentially.
Well, I do know that Dan's character has an interest in, I'm going to forget his name, I think it was Apollo?
Apology.
Apology, yeah. So maybe that. Trying to speak on his behalf since he's not here yet.
Yeah, understandable. Does anyone have any thoughts about that, or?
I mean, I
like
don't.
it.
Yeah, we can go with that.
So, no other thoughts, or we don't have to just serve him. As if there's anything else anyone like.
His name was Apology?
Yeah, apology.
Apology, okay.
With 2 L's.
It's Apollo
Yeah.
turned into apology. Yeah. And I talked about him a bit last time. He is currently the #1 most popular top of the line here. He's the rock star. He's the head of the H2A. He's the Hero Association of the city.
All Might.
He's All Might, yeah. But he is also a star. He's like this indie acoustic guitar scrub, but also like a super famous hero.
As long as he
Right.
knows how to play Wonderwall.
Oh, definitely.
All right, so how did we impress him?
He has a lot of solar powered facilities, right?
So the city has just got an inordinately large portion of solar power. It was kind of constructed to be a solar powered city.
Maybe could have gone on some like school field trip of one of the facilities that makes the solar plants, and he was kind of showing them off, and he was impressed by us, like asking questions. Maybe. But best idea I have right now.
Okay, let me kind of explain a bit. You're going to impress him in this upcoming scene. I was just asking you guys.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I thought you meant in the past. Okay.
No, you are okay. These are all things. How did I describe it yesterday or last week? It's like the record scratch from Emperor's New Groove. We're pausing to kind of talk about it, but this is all pertaining to this current scene of events.
like if we're in a comic panel, like the new story, it's like it gives you like a page, like it introduces character. Hey, Muscle Sheep, what are you doing? It was like, oh, just recalibrating this thing, whatever. we're working out. It's like, hey, you remember that time with Apollo G? It's like, oh yeah, 3 months back or something. And then like the next page, it'll have us like in a yellow box. It'll say like the date, like July
Yeah.
4th, something something, 3 months ago.
Read issue number 43 of
Yeah,
Apollo Assemble. Some whatever fucking I don't know.
for reference.
Yeah.
And now we're essentially right now drawing the panels for that.
Well, kind of building off of that idea, maybe we're on a field trip and to one of the solar-powered facilities, and it comes under attack, and we help Apology defeat the threat.
Like maybe we could even defeat the threat before he shows up.
Right.
I'm feeling you. So next question, which will pertain to this next scene we got coming up. Once we re-engage action and we get into another fight, this is Rainbow's question. You guys saved the life of someone important, either to the city or to you or to the team. Who was it, and why are they important?
The person, the chair of the department or the job who was funding all the solar powered initiative in the city, maybe? They were there to like explain. Did y'all ever do like job fairs in high school where they'd have people come in and be like, hi, I do this on my job? They could be doing something like that.
So kind of like a Tony Stark person without the Iron Man.
Right, like they may not have been the tour guide, but they may have shown up at some point and been like, oh yes, because I did good in school, I was able to go to this college and majored in this, and look at what I'm doing now and what my job responsibilities are.
Gotcha. So
Good idea.
So then, wait. How does Jalem get roped up in this? Because like, are we still at the point where she's still working for Professor Belladonna, or is this after that fact?
I don't think I was making myself abundantly clear. Like, this is immediately following the scene we just ended before the break. So that this
The
is
day after or something, the next school day.
no, like it's an hour.
Later.
You guys are still on the park.
Oh.
So, but what you guys said is still totally cool, and it's going to apply. But just like no time has passed.
Okay, well you said this is summer, right? So they wouldn't be there for school.
Right, but I'm still taking the characters and stuff you've given me.
Okay. So then, like, if this, like, immediately like, an hour later, Jillian would just be on her feet. She'd be wanting to get away because she doesn't want to be recognized by this hero on the off chance that the hero will recognize the symbol.
Gotcha. So we'll pick it up here then. As I said, there was that kind of transitional panel where the spores were infecting a different tree. It will eventually work its way back to the park. A little bit of time has passed enough for Jalem to catch her breath. There's been some more idle conversation. And from what you said, Jalem's going to stand up and start to leave. Is that correct?
Yep.
So, are you guys going to let her go? Is there more conversation that needs to be had?
Muscle Sheep is probably going to try and track down that squirrel he lost.
Gotcha.
He's essentially like checking trees near the party, quote unquote, the party. So like maybe like if it were a comic book, like every fourth panel, you'll see him like in the background barking at a tree.
Void Spawn, have you gotten the information you needed, or are you still researching?
I would probably still be trying to talk to Jillum and asking things like, how did you happen to have this drug so convenient to the enemy that we were facing?
And like as she's walking by, Joan's not saying anything. Like, look, I can't talk right now, but if you want answers, just follow me. Like, I can't really afford to be seen right now because. And then cue Hero into.
All right, gotcha. So I'll real quick, Emily, what were you doing? Are you gonna stay and observe Muscle Sheep? Are you gonna follow the other two? Go your own way? Rainbow. I said, so what are you going to do? Are you gonna follow the other two? Watch Muscle Sheep? Do your own?
She'd probably head off on her own. She was probably meant to head back to practice, like, before the battle even started.
Gotcha. So we'll get Muscle Sheep is chasing his squirrels. Emily probably is going back to the bathroom to change into her pedestrian clothes. Yep. Yeah, the other two are walking away. That's when perhaps the people that were in the park start coming back. They start looking at the damage, the big decayed tree thing, and they're starting to scratch their heads and ask questions. Peace starts to settle until it doesn't. Not too strict on geography here, but let's say not in the direction that. Well, Jillian, where were you heading? Are you going back to Paris? Hello.
Hello?
Did that break up?
No, like, is Rainbow here?
Yeah?
Did you guys not hear her response?
I didn't hear it.
No,
Oh.
I didn't
I heard
hear
it.
anything.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Well, she said she was gonna go her own way. She went and was changing back. I asked you, where were you heading, Jillian?
It's either Richter or Azure. I don't know which.
Void Spawn.
Hello, Dan.
I'm alive.
Huzzah!
Well, can you hear me, Richter?
I can.
Okay.
I can hear you now. What happened?
So I've asked you something twice, and it doesn't seem like you've been able to hear me.
I apologize.
No worry. Dan, what you've missed thus far, we just got back from kind of the halfway point. The party grouped up in the park, met for the very first time. Conveniently, a giant plant attacked, and the party kind of sprang into action and subdued it. But now it seems like they're going their separate ways.
After the plant attack?
Yeah, they kind of subdued it.
Huh. Okay.
So yeah, these strangers met in the park, beat up a giant plant, and let's get back on with our afternoon.
What would I be doing?
So let's have this happen here. I'm gonna change plans a little bit. Let's say that Highlight wasn't kind of just standing around there. Let's say he hasn't joined the group yet. Highlight, you were walking down on the sidewalk of one of the main streets of Halcyon City. What are you up to this Sunday afternoon?
I snuck away. I would be wearing a I'd probably be wearing like a big hoodie and sunglasses because that's the best disguise ever, but I needed some time to take a break from all the show business stuff, and so it's just me like spending time by myself for now.
Gotcha. So you're walking down the street. It's busy, man. This is Halcyon City. This is the international hotspot of the globe. There's so many people. With your impeccable disguise and with a heavy dose of comic book logic, no one's giving you a second glance.
Nice. Being normal so easy.
As you are walking down the street, you know how even like on the sidewalks, there's just the occasional lone tree every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
You stop and you look up, and this is early summer. Yeah, you'd think it'd be a little bit past the pollen season, but there's some weird like yellow spores or dust coming off this tree that you're right next.
I don't recognize it at all, I'm guessing.
No, not really.
Well, first of all, I'd take a picture of it with my
Oh,
phone.
oh, perfect. Yeah. Is this to the Instagrams or just for you?
Just for myself. I'll figure out what to do with it later, but since it's so weird, I figure I can show someone.
Yeah, totally. So you're snapping pictures. I mean, you're good at this internet famous thing. You probably got good photography skills, getting nice angles there with it. The weird thing is you're trying to line up like a good angle for the lighting, but the lighting keeps changing because the tree is getting bigger and bigger, and trees grow, but this thing is 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet. It starts to go out into the street.
Oh, I definitely back the heck up.
And then the roots come out of the ground, and what you see before you is a very large monster made of bark. It's vaguely, well, no, it's not even humanoid shape anymore. It's got four legs and two arms. It's kind of this centaur shape. Out of the front of the out of the top of its head, the leaves are condensing and becoming this thick green flower. Cars are already swerving around, trying to avoid it, crashing into things. Sirens go off. Something's going down.
There's only one of them?
There's only one of them.
How many people are around?
Oh, this is a crowded street. People are starting to turn around and run, but there's tons of people.
Okay. Gotcha. I duck around a corner or something. I would get out of the view for a moment in order to call my agent.
Okay, who is your agent?
That is a good question. Fudge, what is his name? It'd be an older man, of course. He's apparently good at this hero/celebrity promotion thing. I've only started working with him I would say for a few months, but I like him enough. I
Gotcha.
haven't learned. I haven't bothered to learn his name yet because I've just been so busy with everything that's going on with my life.
Gotcha. Let me pull up your sheet real quick.
Mhm.
Do you have, so would he know you by your real name or just exclusively highlight?
He'd know me by my real name, but he'd probably like call me by my hero name.
Right, so you pick up the phone. Highlight, it's Sunday afternoon. Why are you calling?
We have a situation. There's a plant monster thing in the street. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Plant monster in the street? Good lord, where is the coordinate?
The coordinates.
Yeah.
What would he do? Oh, hold. He would send a location. So it's like, hold on, let me send you my location, and then he does that thing on the phone.
Yeah, totally. He is through the other end of the line flipping his shit. You hear him start to shout out of whatever bit room he's in. I need cameras down at the intersection of X and Y stat.
There's a real situation now. I'm not exactly show ready.
Look, as long as you stay there, all right? Stay close. Make sure you get in the shot. I don't care what you do.
As I am now, I'm not even ready.
Where do you have written down? Let's see.
In my sheet.
Do you have the stuff about your audience? Do you have you already selected the options for that?
Oh yeah. It would be. Let me check my. It would be under my passive moves. I think I just kind of lumped it all together.
Gotcha, I see it. So they require constant stimulation and they require novelty and brand new action.
Yes.
Gotcha. So he's gonna tell you straight up, like, look, we've never got you in the wild like this. You need to capitalize. Your fans will love this. Find a way to make it work, Hyla.
Okay, music to my ears. I just needed his permission.
Gotcha. And we'll kind of flip scene a little bit here. Panel will open up. Jalim, where were you taking your companion? Where were you headed?
She was just heading back to her lab.
In the Parasol building?
Yeah.
Good, because what's going to happen is as you guys start to make it towards the intersection out of the park, cars are making very illegal U-turns and starting to pull away. People are starting to run
And then that actually gets Joan thinking, wait a minute, what day is it today? Like, she actually pulls out her phone, like, we weren't supposed to unleash anything today.
Muscle Sheep and Emily, you might notice a bit slower than them the commotion that's starting to sweep the city.
How long has this taken?
So I'd say it's maybe been an hour since you guys defeated the first one. You've probably definitely started to go your separate ways, but this disturbance is bigger than a monster in the park. It's starting to affect the downtown of Halcyon City, as this monster has not contented itself with the street highlight. It's still growing, it's still moving. It's heading towards the biggest building in this area, the Parasol headquarters.
Uh-oh.
Um,
The monster itself is growing, right?
Yeah, this tree centaur thing, every few minutes is just gaining inches.
Okay, so what I would do, well, first, take off the hoodie, of course. I have to be noticed. Tie it around my waist, push the sunglasses up, get the phone, get my phone out, make sure I have the right angle. And then I start to take a selfie with the creature in the back. So just trying to capture the right angle, right picture. And once I feel like I got it, I'll just caption it. What would I caption it? I just caption it with the location and the winky face, and then put it to my profile.
Gotcha.
because bringing people there is a great idea.
It is for
Yeah.
me.
Is within Jilem's vision, like, would she have been able to catch that?
I'd say it's still a decent ways away from the building, but as you were kind of heading there, you might be kind of what's the word? Perpendicular to it. You
Mhm.
probably can
Mm-hmm. And Highlight is like a very high profile hero, right? Or like a high profile aspiring hero.
Yeah, he's not. He's famous for being up and coming, so he's not super famous.
he's a good like rookie league.
Mm-hmm.
So Jilem, seeing that, just blinks and just shouts at him, "What the hell, hero?" Which is actually one of my active moves.
Do you wish to use said active move, or is that just for flavor?
Actually, I want to use it, but it's also can it be both?
Well, yeah, totally.
So just roll it.
What does it specifically do?
When you call out an injustice that a hero has perpetrated, i.e., getting people to come to a very dangerous area, roll danger. On a hit, you take influence on them. On 7 to 9, choose one of the following. On 10 plus, choose two of the following.
See, that's a good example, actually. You see this up and coming, pretty famous junior hero monster marching down the street. He's taking pictures with it. He's not fighting it. That's not.
All right.
So go ahead and roll that danger.
Wow, that's a good
That's a
one.
full hit.
Nice.
So if there's any onlookers, well, first if there's any onlookers, I get influence over them. So I guess Void. If he's near, does that mean I get influence over him?
I think in this case, onlookers is going to apply for like NPC characters, not like other party members.
All right. So in that case, I went over like onlookers of various NPCs, like as of telling them to get out of here, and you don't turn their attention and anger onto yourself. And I just get Highlight to admit like what he did was pretty stupid. Because I don't understand the third option, which is you don't turn their attention and anger onto yourself.
Okay, so
Like I don't understand the wording on that one.
basically, so you're kind of calling out a hero for not being very heroic. If you
Mhm.
don't pick that option, it might make them decide, like, I need to shut this brat up.
Oh.
But taking that, they probably won't direct their anger then back at you.
Then I'll just take the onlooker and the anger one.
So, highlight this plant scientist-y looking girl down the. She shouts out at you and says, like, "Well, why the hell are you just taking a picture of it? That's not what a hero should do." That stings a bit. How do you feel about that?
So basically, she would just yell at me like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
I'd wave back, and then I would just point at my phone and just mouth like, "What would you mouth?" Oh, he would mouth for the gram and then like shrug. But he would also like look apologetic, but like in that way. I would look apologetic, but in that way where you know like they're not completely sorry, but they're sorry they got caught.
Oh my god.
Gotcha, but this is you don't know much about the person yet, but
Mm-hmm.
they are still a potential fan, potential citizen. You do, even if you aren't super swayed by it, you do still feel like you kind of want to impress this person. They're calling you out. Uh, hmm. Showing them that they're not right about you is still important to you because
Mm-hmm.
Richter now gets influence over you.
Oh, did that? Okay, yeah. Let me add that then.
So yeah, Jalem has influence over Highlight.
Got it.
Gonna back up here just to get them. Muscle Sheep and Emily. What is your reaction to the commotion?
Muscle Sheep kind of sees this thing, and I imagine he gets a whiff. Like he can hear it, obviously, but he's trying to chase this squirrel that he's got cornered in a tree, and he can kind of like hear the people boom, like screaming and like, "Oh, what is that?" And run for your life, you know. And like he's not really paying attention to that. He's focused, like hyper focused on this squirrel because he wants to eat today. And and
He ate a
then
squirrel.
he's a dog. So yes. But then like Muscle Sheep gets a whiff of a scent on the air. He smells like this wooden kind of acidy poison. And then he like his ears perks up and he turns and looks at this thing, looks back at the squirrel, looks back at this thing. He just growls and just starts running on all fours towards this giant plant monstrosity.
Gotcha. And Emily, your day was interrupted once already by random people and giant plant monsters, and you'd really like to get back to practice. You know you're going to get in trouble already, but you hear screaming.
Yeah, she hears people being upset, like maybe she's taking kind of the suburb route to try to get back, but it still carries over a couple blocks, just the commotion. So she'll start pulling her helmet of sorts out of her duffel bag that she carries for quote unquote sport equipment. Is actually just what she carries her helmet in. And she'll start making her way kind of quickly towards whatever is going on downtown.
Gotcha. And Void Spawn, your walking companion, just shouted at the hero, but also the plant thing is back and very much bigger than it was. Any thought?
I'll ask Jillum if she has any more of those pills.
And I only have one left, but this thing looks like it's gonna take more than one. I think I have more in the lab. I'm not sure.
How far away is your lab?
My lab is literally in that building.
Well, I can fly you there.
Alright, that'd be. Wait, you can fly?
Yeah. I just act like that's a perfectly normal thing.
Okay. Yeah, it's on the 10th floor.
So are
Alright.
you're gonna fly her there?
Yep. And I am going to, because I've been trying to think about how flying would work for a blob creature, and I think going on that same idea that I can kind of spread myself out and change my density, I would do like the hollow bird bones thing, and just make myself spread out over a wide area to basically be a bird, just a very large one, and pick Chillum up and start flying very quickly over towards the I can't think of the name, Parasol Company's building.
Gotcha. So you basically become a giant gray hang glider. Kind of,
Basically,
sorta.
yeah.
Whoa, that's neat. I can see this, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
It's going on my Instagram.
So Muscle Sheep and Beatbox are heading. That's the name, right?
E.
Cool. So those two heroes are heading towards the disturbance. You've got Highlight there, still just taking picture after picture. Void Spawn and Jalim are heading towards the lab. You guys will. Are you gonna bust through the window on the 10th floor?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what she directs me to do. That's what I'll do.
Yep. And she's like, I hope you don't get cut up too easily, as she just bunches up her lab coat around her.
I would kind of use my shape shifting a little bit to shield her as best I can while still being able to fly.
Gotcha. And so we get this nice big crash sound effect panel as the window shatters and you both enter into the building. Jalim, you'll notice, and something you will know. Uh, you are part of Parasol that isn't super publicly tied to the solar power company.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they got their start. That's where they got their money, basically constructing Halcyon City's power grid. They funneled that into, this bio research type of thing. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
those offices more to the side, quieter. But so a lot of these people in here are not necessarily all your coworkers. These are some of the more businessy type of people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, They are running screaming. There is panic in this building because this creature is very obviously heading straight for Parasol HQ.
And she's like, oh, you've gotta be kidding me. And like she just like starts like she's not one for leadership, but she just like calls over everyone. All right, everyone, shut up and calm down. If they'll listen to her.
Cool thing here. I'm going to let you use the move provoke someone on the floor.
Okay.
So
So
that's a roll plus superior. So that's a hit. So you get to. Or no. I get to choose. Okay, so say exactly what you're trying to get them to do.
and like she just she stands up on a desk because she's kind of on the short side, and she just like yells over them, "All of you, calm down! Just guys, no, stop! Don't stop!" Like she's trying to get them to stop panicking and running.
So you're going to get influence over this crowd for the scene. Um, As you shout, it's very much like a scene from a cartoon. Everyone just instantaneously freezes. It's like, a time switch got flipped. People that were holding things, they probably dropped them. Probably some phones clattered to the ground. Every head in this floor, open office design, very modern. Every head turns and their eyes are staring right at you.
And now she's a bit put on the spot. Like now she's put on the spot. Like, and she goes, okay, hi. I'm a scientist here. I know exactly what that thing is. Someone needs to call apology, and someone needs to give me a phone so I can call Professor Belladonna right now.
And they will rush to obey. As they'll start to try and probably run into each other to grab these phones, the scene will shift back down to the street level. You still taking pictures, Highlight?
Oh no, I'm done. That was already good enough. Just that video of a gray hang glider and some girl hanging off it, flying into the building.
So what are your actions now?
Are there cameras? Or are there...
Let's see. I would say that by now you might start to see the news helicopter kind of hovering as close as it dares to get, because this thing's starting to crest the taller building.
Nice. Okay. And I imagine there's a lot of people around now too.
Yep, and you definitely see a muscle sheeb and a girl with a boombox helmet starting to run towards the.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and engage it.
You're gonna try and stop its forward progress.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and distract it so it stops moving.
Okay, so how does that look like? Are you using your powers or some other means?
Yeah, so I would try to use my powers to create flashes of light in front of its face so it gets blinded, and then hopefully that just stops it from that keeps it still for a little bit so it gets disoriented.
I'll say that can be a directly engage a threat, because it doesn't sound like pushing your powers too heavy.
Okay, cool.
So that's going to be a roll plus danger.
So I have stage fighting, so when you engage a threat with an audience watching, I can use my superior instead of danger.
Oh, gotcha. Totally cool.
Situational bonus. Oh, you have to put the bonus in yourself.
No, just leave that empty. It puts it in automatically. That's just if you have like influence or anything extra.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So do you have the guide for basic moves open?
No. I can bring it up.
Yeah, so if you'll look under directly engage a threat, you get to pick one of the options there.
On a 7 and 9, pick one. Surprise or frighten.
Gotcha. So what's gonna happen is you kind of stride forward. You're done with the photos now. You engage your powers and you try and make this thing stop. The news cameras that are in the helicopter probably zoom in on this challenging hero that tries to stop this thing. The lights flash in front of its face, question mark. And it does seem to stop. It's almost earthquake like footsteps are done for now, but the pavement starts rippling and cracking. The asphalt is breaking, and lots of vines just suddenly burst up from the cement ground, wrap around you, and start squeezing.
Oh no.
Mark,
Just me, right?
oh, just you. Let's see, what's the condition? Mark hopeless.
Oh, that's not good.
Goodness.
I like to imagine that the flashing lights specifically look like camera flashes.
Nice.
Yeah, basically.
Muscle Sheeb and Beatbox. What is your plan?
I think
Wait,
Muscle
is it
Sheep.
is it just my ankles? Or is it
Your
like my whole body?
I'm imagining like an up to the head kind of enrapture.
Okay. Got it.
All right,
Muscle
Muscle
Sheep is, I would assume, Muscle Sheep at this point is not going to pull any punches. And he knows that this thing is going to not only destroy the place, but also scare away all the squirrels. And that just will not stand. And I'm going to I think it'd probably just be directly engage the threat. Instead of using my fangs, though, I'm going to uh, use my I'm going to use my muscly muscles, and basically I'm just going to jump up, kind of do a Hulk smash, jump up and attempt to punch this thing, kind of essentially unleash my hatred of my physical form and punch this thing as hard as I can.
Gotcha. I'll say that that's a directly engage a threat. I know you have that if you do it in a terrifying manner, what just for this situation, because this creature is so large and it's not taking notice of you right now, just roll plus danger.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a terrifying manner. Dang
And
it.
so at the same time, because these panels are probably happening like on the left and right of the page, like very even, what is Emily doing?
Mm,
Oh, yes. Are you the first one that's missed, Ryukin?
yeah, I think he is.
Void Spawn missed something. I don't know if it was a move.
Yeah, he did. So, Void Spawn, and you go ahead. Remember, going forward forever, if you miss a roll, mark a potential.
Gotcha.
So, what were you doing, Emily?
Someone got wrapped up, right? They have them in vines.
It's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, okay. Am I able to... I'll kind of look over what's going on and try to real quick see who's in the biggest snafu at the moment, and she'll run over and try to start prying some of the vines off of Gillum.
Highlight.
Highlight? Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm not used to everyone's voices yet, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Let's see. I'm going to have you roll to defend highlight. So that means you'll have to do a roll plus save you. Ooh, nice.
Nice. I'm just like, get me out of here.
Yes.
All right, let me see 1 second. Okay, so you get to choose one. You either take influence over the person you protect, which will be highlight in this case, or you clear a condition
A clear condition on me or them?
on you.
Well, I don't have a condition, I don't think. I took a powerful blow, right? But I was alright.
Yeah, you didn't mark a condition from that.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll take influence over you unless you already have it.
I do, but I'll take more.
Well, no, do you have influence over highlight?
She does.
Okay,
Yeah, you
so
already do.
gotcha. All right, well that's gonna kind of
This
well.
could be where I got influence over him.
This,
Ah.
Hey,
yes,
go.
this is.
Hey. Well, there you go.
Okay, so highlight. You're not used to kind of being tousled around like this. Most of your fights kind of go your way. This little girl with a boombox for a head is coming up and doing her best to tear at the vines. Either it's just she's really good at tearing vines, or something distracts it, but she manages to get you out of there. And hey, that's pretty cool. You're usually the one doing the same.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what distracts it is muscle sheath. Because on a what happens if you miss with the directly engaged?
Let's see.
It doesn't say.
I think that's up to you.
I was just seeing if there was any by the rules like bad effects.
Doesn't,
Were you saying something?
doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I wasn't seeing anything. So what we're going to have happen is you bound up and you try and lay into. You're pretty strong. Your jump probably cleared you up to like its flank of its centaur like. You jump up and you try to just slam into it with your muscles, and I mean, sure enough, the bark cracks under you. You probably make a good like crater in this thing. It doesn't blink. That's fine for it. Long gone are the days where you tore this thing's leg off. And in response, tendrils of the same vine like material spring out and impact you in the chest and push you off of this thing.
Barf!
Oh no.
So you can mark any one condition of your choice.
Alright. I think I'm gonna go with anger. Doggo has an anger.
Gotcha. So, back into the building. Void Spawn, what are you doing as these people shuffle around?
I've probably reverted back to my humanoid form just for ease of moving around the building, and I'm just basically following Jillem around because
Gotcha.
I need to be there to fly her back.
Jillem, you're on the phone with your mentor, the Lady Belladonna.
Mm-hmm. And Professor?
Do you have any kind of personality you want me to affect for?
Think of like the haughty, rich woman type personality, but the thing, she knows things, and she won't tell anyone what she's planning unless it benefits her. Basically, something has to benefit her for her to do something.
Gotcha. Yes, Jillem, dear. I thought it was your day off. Why are you bothering me when I should be working?
It is. One of the experiments got loose. It's getting ready to destroy the Parasol building.
The-
And she looks down. Oh,
Alright.
that's not good.
My dear, I assure you that none of my experiments have gotten loose. You should know that I have very strict standards when it comes to precautions of safety.
I didn't say that it was any of yours, but I do know it's a company. It's one of ours.
And what is it doing, you said? The Parasol building?
Correct. It's it's getting ready to destroy the Parasol building, and it has 2 innocents. Oh dear.
Yes, well. I think you have received enough training to take care of it. I trust you still have my herbicide?
I do.
Well, that should surely be sufficient. I mean, it can't be that much of a threat, can it?
Understood. Sorry for bothering you.
It is some trouble, but you are worth it, my dear. Do see that this does not come back to trouble us, won't you?
I understand, ma'am.
And the phone is hung up.
And Jillian just like she just literally throws the phone across across the floor and hits a wall. And if it cracks or not, maybe. But Void would just see her stomping off in the opposite direction.
I take it that did not go as planned.
It went as expected. That's all I'm gonna say.
Jalim has turned her back on it, but Void, if you're looking back at where the phone was, you will notice it's smashed into the wall by an elevator panel, which now opens, and out steps someone y'all might recognize, probably Jalim does. The
Mm-hmm.
president of Parasol Industries, the public company, the solar power company, steps out for the elevator, looking around, panic stricken, this fat cat rich man. And he looks around at everyone and says, "What is going on?"
And Jillian just says, sir, we have everything under control. I'm moving to secure."
Right. Well, I think I will just go back up to my office and as a mid-speech bubble, uh, that's going to get cut off. The panel shifts to the next one, and those of you outside, despite your best efforts, weren't able to stop it hard enough. More of those vine tendrils burst in through the other windows on this floor. Jalim, Voidspawn, you watch as they wrap around the president's figure and start pulling him out of the windows of the building.
Oh,
Yikes.
God damn it.
Unfortunately, I will have to go to bed. I cannot stay up. It's fading fast. I apologize, guys.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm
It's okay.
sorry.
Go lay down. Bye bye.
Muscle
Take care.
Sheep would like a stick from this thing once it is defeated. If we
Very good.
defeat it.
Very good. All right. And yeah, I am wrapping up here soonish.
Yeah, I would like to just shapeshift into just like a giant razor sharp edge and just slam into the vines, try to cut them off.
Totally. That will be very good. I'll let you kind of pick this one based on your intention here. Do you wish to directly engage a threat and, attack the creature? Or are you trying to save the president?
I'd say I'm trying to save the president, so probably defend, I'm guessing.
Yeah, let's roll that defend action. That's a hit. You do get to choose either to take influence over them or clear condition, but you are going to be exposed to further danger.
I guess I'll take influence because I don't have any conditions yet.
Gotcha. So you come down as this razor blade type of edge. You slash through the tentacles. Hey, that worked pretty well actually compared to Muscle Sheep earlier. You slice clean through it. They sever in the middle. They start wriggling back, trying to retreat. The president squirms out of his grasp. I imagine Jalim maybe helps free him. But the tentacle, the end still attached to him that was retreating, starts to heal very quickly. Other smaller tentacles shoot out of it, and what they wrap around instead is void spot. Down to the street. Highlight, you have been freed by Emily. What are the two of you wishing to do as you see this creature rummaging through the skyscraper?
That's a good question. Well, first I would tell her that she was amazing. Can I hug you?
Sure, go for it.
And so then I would it would just be like a kind of knocks her off her feet type of hug. It would last for a second, and then I pull back and make sure my hair's okay. Like, all right, turn back to the monsters. So what do we do about this?
You know, I'm not really sure. Is it the same thing we fought earlier? Because I don't know if my powers did too much at it.
So, were you asking a question of the DM there, or just for flavor?
Just flavor.
Gotcha.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
Right.
But okay. You fought this thing before? And then I would imagine that we would see Void Spawn getting into his disaster.
Yeah,
I'm way up on the 10th floor of a building, but maybe.
Oh, just kidding.
You might see him start to withdraw his hand, the tentacle-y hand that was shoved into the skyscraper,
Mm-hmm.
potentially clutching something.
I would turn to. I'd imagine it's beatbox since it's the superhero persona. Can your mask see up there? Like, can it zoom in? And I make like zoom in and out motions.
No, I just do noise. Get it?
And I look at her. Oh, I snap my fingers. That makes so much more sense.
Somewhere, someone dissolved into dust.
Well, I imagine that's how he was making the light anyway. He was snapping his fingers. So if you have sound and I use light and this thing's a plant, this is going to be a toughie.
Jalim, you've pulled the president back from the precipice of potentially certain doom, but your gray friend has just gotten taken in his place.
And Angela's, oh, damn it. And she's just like, Mr. President, you better go back to your office. Lock down. Go. Go, go, go. Now.
You don't have to tell me. He's already in the elevator.
And Jalim will actually run into her lab. Like, go to where her desk is. And from underneath, like, her monitor, or from underneath, like, her keyboard, she'll type in a very specific code and just grab 3 vials of what she had earlier. This is like in its liquid form.
Gotcha.
And then she'll run back. And then she'll run back out. Like, okay, how do I get down?
Well, you don't have to wait very long, as we'll switch over to Void Spawn for a second. You've been pulled out of the building as you were grasping this tendril hand. You're trying to look back at the flower as it kind of looks at you again, question mark. It's a flower, but you're very high up. Is there any kind of reaction from the alien here, or is he a cold slate?
I think it would
Just blank
probably be.
face.
Yeah, I feel like it would probably be too overpowered if I were to just like make myself melt out of its grip.
I
That could be
mean,
like unleashing your powers.
well, if you'd like to try to escape, that's totally fine. You have the floor. What do you do?
Yeah, I'll try to escape. I think instead of doing that, because I was already still kind of in that blade form, I'll just kind of morph myself into a just like spike ball of razors and try to just cut through everything that's surrounding me.
Nice. Let's see. Do you have any conditions, Mark?
Not yet, no.
Okay. You might be being pulled out of a building, but you seem to be maintaining a decently cool head. That's not a terribly difficult transformation for you, is it?
It's a fairly basic shape, I would assume.
Cool. So I'll just say you don't even have to roll for that. You become this spiked ball, and it sure enough, you're cutting through tendrils that are trying to regrow, but they're just cutting themselves again. This creature screams and or makes some sort of horrible noise, and you if there was any kind of panel of thoughts of this thing, you weren't what it was trying to grab anyway. So why is it getting hurt trying to hold you? It's gonna let you go, and you start plummeting down 10 stories.
Oh
Yep.
no.
And I'm ball shaped, so I'm falling fast.
So highlight and beatbox, you see this gray thing start falling.
I point up at it. What's that over there? And then when I realize that it's some thing falling, I almost try to activate my powers to stop it. But then I get so hopeless when it comes to what I can do, and so I turn to beatbox and I don't yell, but I shout, "Try doing something."
Is there anything you can do, Emily?
Am I? You said there was other like manicured kind of like green spaces around, maybe like lining the sidewalks.
There are maybe a few individual like trees. I won't necessarily say a green space.
So I had the thought to see if I manipulated the sound hard enough, it would be able to move, like adjust the tree, but I don't know if that would be good or not.
How big
Don't.
is this ball?
How big is the ball, Azur?
Well, in order to probably be heavy enough to cut through the vines, probably fairly small. Not like smaller than like a tennis ball, but maybe I don't know, maybe 3 feet around.
3 feet around.
She'll remember suddenly the not tote bag, the duffel bag that she uses to kind of cart around her mask and some of her like volleyball uniform and pads and stuff. and she'll snatch that up from the ground and unzip it. Hold the other side, and we'll see if maybe we can catch him with it.
I take it spiritedly from her and I say, sounds like a plan.
We're gonna try to fireman save save him.
This thing.
Yeah, whatever this is.
Well, I would figure you'd recognize it, but
Yeah.
Yeah, you just saw this dude become a mailbox.
Well, maybe she only recognizes him as a mailbox.
she has a good feeling it's him.
Totally fair. You guys can definitely try and do that. Do you have any plans to arrest your own fall, Azur, or are you just kind of stuck free fall?
I'll say I'm kind of panicking a little bit. I didn't fully think through the whole break through the vines thing while I was 10 stories up. So probably at the most, I'll just try to spread myself out, make myself less dense so I don't kill somebody on the ground.
Gotcha. So let's do this. What is highlights and beatboxes? What are your savior bonuses?
Mine's 1.
And what is yours, Rainbow?
0.
So we'll just have Rainbow roll 2d6 and Dan roll plus savior.
Woo!
Ooh.
So, what happened? You guys have this big bag spread out. You're trying to catch this falling thing in it. Thankfully, you guys are actually pretty good at saving people. So you managed to like really line this up well. You're right in position as this ball starts falling, and you manage to catch it in the duffel bag. Problem: it was falling very fast.
Are we
You
like sunk
catch
to
it.
our knees?
You guys are. It's ripped out of your hands. You probably have torn skin on your palm. Azur, they kind of arrested your fall a bit, but you smash into the pavement pretty hard. Gonna have you roll to take a powerful blow.
Okay. Oof.
So choose one. Given the situation, don't think you can lash out verbally. So you either give ground or you struggle past the pain and Mark II conditions.
I say I'll give ground. I'm just kind of dazed and stunned at the moment, still recovering from the impact.
So kind of functionally for the next bit, maybe as here's an idea. You smashed the ground so hard you splatted, you dissipated. Your form is kind of spread out over the pavement, and as you kind of reform, perhaps you're taken out for the immediate future.
Okay.
Jalim, up on the 10th floor there, looking out of these broken windows, that flower is now right level with the window, looking in there, trying to find the present.
Julem is actually going to take her opportunity to take a vial, pop the cork, and then just like literally run out the window, and just try to slam it in this thing's eye. Like just pour the herbicide all over its eye.
Gotcha. Let's have you. Let's see. Let's have you directly engage a threat.
With danger.
Wow, nice. So I'm gonna kind of do the narrative thing here and kind of pick your choices for you.
Okay.
So you run into this thing, you make the leap out of the window, you grab into the flower. uh, You start pouring the first vial, and this thing shrieks and tries to pull back. It's shaking around, trying to throw you off, but you hold on firm. Maybe you have to uncork the second vial, start pouring it on it. As this thing is flailing around, the petals around you are starting to wither. This much herbicide isn't going to take the whole thing out, but given that you're hitting its face, it's very much opening up an opportunity for someone else to. And that opportunity comes uh, suddenly with a loud roar above the buildings, above the rooftops. Every one of you hears burning, almost like a jet engine taking off above your head. Above this plant creature, uh, 20 feet, 25 feet in the sky, a sun suddenly blossoms low hanging into the sky. All of the solar panels that are covering the roofs of these buildings start to reflect that light, push it back onto the plant. It starts to catch fire. It's burning. Jolene, it's burning with you on it. Might need to think about leaving.
Oh no.
Yeah, like so like she's like wincing, but like she'll probably take the opportunity to avoid a blow.
Very much so.
Yeah. And at the same time take a leaf from this creature that isn't fully, wilted away.
Right, gotcha. Are you going to attempt to leap back through the window before it's too late? Do you have another exit strategy?
See, the thing is she didn't really think this far, but so she's going to see if she can jump back onto the building.
Gotcha. Let's see. You're still afraid, correct?
Yep.
Just roll me 2d6.
The flat.
Yep, flat 2d6.
Uh-oh.
You were already feeling from this afternoon a bit
Mhm.
frightened of things.
Yeah.
Given the burning plant centaur, you try and turn and jump back to avoid sharing its fate. It wasn't that close, and now you are also plummeting, free falling 10 stories. You guys all, perhaps on the ground, look up if you have a form, so not a void. You see another person falling, and you learned your lesson. Maybe the duffel bag won't save a human.
Probably not.
But even as this plant thing is starting to burn and disintegrate and shrink, the sun vanishes and a streak of white hot energy zooms through the air. Jalim disappears from your sight. In another second, she's been set down on the ground gently, slightly smoking from her jacket, perhaps. Another second, another panel, the flame reappears in front of the plant creature. It's burning it again. Reaches out, a humanoid hand touches it, and just cracks of fire start to appear all throughout the wood. And a couple awesome panels of burning effects ends in the creature crumbling, turning to black ash. And then on the pavement, as he touches down, all of you guys see Apology, the number one hero in this.
Oh my god. I'm starstruck.
A hand forms from the puddle on the ground and waves.
Nice.
I like grab beatbox. I'm like, do you know who that is? It's Apology.
Yeah.
And I take out my phone and I start recording him.
He kind of he's got this overlong in the front kind of gingery hair that he pushes out of his forehead and looks down at you. He's still floating, maybe like 3 inches off the ground. He looks at Jalim's like, "You okay there, young lady? That was quite a fall."
And she just like grumbles, "That was not one of my smartest ideas."
No, perhaps it was not, but very well done all the same.
So, thank you, sir. As she gets up.
His head kind of turns and looks at the reforming gray blob, and he's, "Oh, is that someone I didn't catch? I hope is he okay?"
He was caught, but not very well.
I'll be fine.
Jalim, you kind of maybe looking for this on the alert. You see it again. The golden spores start to lift up from the ashes and start to move. But nah, apologies, too quick for that. He turns, finger guns, bam pow. The spores are incinerated.
And Jalim lets out a breath she didn't know she was holding, like, oh, thank goodness.
Oh, geez, I mean, I take it that was not the first time you guys saw this.
It attacked earlier today, sir. We managed to beat it back the first time, but I guess it managed to spread and infect something else.
Oh, yikes, that's nasty. Say, I don't recognize all of you. Or, well, sorry, any of you. None of you are heroes, are you?
In training, I pipe up.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, juniors? And you're already... Well, I mean, you weren't taking care of it, but you were helping. What? That's something.
And I'm just like beside myself because Apology recognized my existence.
Well, that's...
And
Senpai
I have
noticed
it
you.
all recorded on my Instagram so everyone else knows he recognized my existence.
Yep.
So Senpai has noticed you.
Well, very impressed with you guys. Well, not every day you see juniors handling stuff like that, but hey, I gotta run, alright? There's I think there's a kraken in the lake over in North Street. I'll be back. And he kinda, again, finger guns at you. Make sure not to shoot fire this time. Winks, waves, and he's blasting off.
Ugh.
Internally, Jalim starts thinking, how did we hire him again? He's
So
insufferable.
cool.
The scene is gonna flicker out of detail. Halcyon City is very well used to the damage that supers cause. They have teams of construction crews that are very adept at repairing infrastructure. The Parasol building is better off than most because its owners are so very rich. It's probably repaired within a week. People will definitely be speaking about the plant centaur that rampaged down Main Street for quite a while. But I mean, stuff like that happens in Halcyon City, man. That's just what you have to accept if you live in the super capital of...
Insurance premiums must be insane.
As time passes, I'm sure that highlights page is just bombarded by people that are just amazed that Apology himself recognized you.
Yes. I
the
got
young,
so much attention.
the more ambitious heroes, like our younger heroes, like Emily. That event probably really inspired you to keep doing what you're doing. It gave you a goal to look forward to. Azur, once you pick yourself up off the ground and kind of reassess the situation, that was a pretty decent little investigation there. You probably got a lot of data from.
Yeah, and I met a new person. Who was that? And everybody just stares at me like I'm an idiot.
That was Apology, one of the more well-known heroes of the city. Sponsored by the Paracel Company.
How could you not know about Apology?
I'm fairly new here.
I just like suddenly notice his silver skin. Is that natural? I like put out a finger as though to feel if something is radiating off him.
It just pushes in.
Oh, does it? It just like
Yeah, I'm very malleable.
I jerk my hand back like, ooh. That's different.
Are you just Play-Doh?
What is this Play-Doh?
Oh god, never mind.
You really
But-
don't know anything.
And while they're having this conversation, Jilem is like texting the professor with just like with just the message, subject contained.
Very good. You'll get a reply not quickly, maybe an hour later. She finished what she was doing first,
Yeah.
but she'll write back, very good. Try not to disappoint me next time.
And
Oof.
Jillian will actually look visibly hurt at that as she just like pockets her phone and slowly walks away.
And I was gonna say, for you, Jalem, you're still haven't reformed yet. That will have happened before issue 1. But
Yep.
this event definitely sowed some seeds of doubt. Haha.
Yep.
Good one.
Hmm.
As
More like spores of doubt.
A
Wait, is she walking away now?
like it would just be like as the volume ends, she's like walking away.
Aw. I feel like I'd call out to her.
Well, I guess you could do that next volume, like before she fully leaves.
That makes sense to me. For sure.
I'll say like, yeah, this little event is over. You guys have kind of stopped your first major threat to Halcyon City. You know, there's something about fighting a plant centaur and falling out of buildings with each other that maybe you guys won't so quickly walk away from each other from now on. You might even swap contact details, and you know, next month you get together more, and month after that even further, and hey, 9 months later you guys are a superhero team working together.
Nice.
But
Highlights
before,
like follow my socials.
yeah, definitely. But before we close out, and next week we'll pick up 9 months later as you guys have become a full team, you have one more question to answer. You guys found signs that this incident was just the start of something bigger. What were the signs?
I would think it's what's in the lab, right?
Yep.
Or like
Only
what that monster
Jillian
was
would
trying to
really have a
grab.
clue on.
And the fact that it was specifically trying to go for the president of the company.
What was that, Azur?
I was just saying that's something that would really be in Jillum's area of expertise, because the rest of us wouldn't really have access to the labs to learn more.
Right.
Oh, but I was going to say we never did highlights question.
I was going to point that out too.
Oh right, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Your question is that you guys, as a team, attracted the attention of a major media outlet within the city. Who were they, and why did they support you?
So when it says a major media outlet, basically like a news channel, or
It might have been the Fox News. It might be a weekly magazine, like a home improvement. It might be the Quibbler.
Wait, and when you say Fox News, do you mean FOX or FAUX?
Whatever you want to make it, you kind of own this question.
FOX.
Could we have
Oh wait.
retconned a bit and say that that news chopper that was flying overhead got hit by the plant creature and we managed to save it from crashing?
How would we is the question when we barely saved you?
Well, no,
Yeah.
what would end up happening is, like, we're fighting the creature knocks the chopper out of the air. It's Apology who saves them at the nick of time, but if it weren't for us, like, fully having this thing's attention, it would have been a bit more awkward for him. So, in a way, we sort of helped him.
And for that,
Which would then add further credence to him calling us, like, his juniors, so to speak.
Yeah, I can see that. As he did his dynamic entry, he was rescuing the chopper crew and setting them on the rooftops before he blazed over to pick up Void Spawn. Or, sorry, Jalem.
That works.
so a really major news channel now pays attention to us. Mostly because of me, but because of you too.
Oh, I can totally see the headline of, of course, they'll give the full credit. Apology saves downtown threat, rescues innocents and junior heroes. Have been doing a rather good job of distracting the creature before the real heroes could arrive.
Are our
No name
pictures
drop
at
or
least
highlight.
taken?
Say what?
Are our pictures at least taken?
Oh yeah, it's
Or
gonna
like we were captured?
totally for the next week at least. The scenes from that are gonna keep playing again and again, and you'll get the commentators saying like, "We will watch the careers of these young heroes as they develop."
Nice. I like to think my company would pay for them to not use that clip of me getting captured by vines. A lot
Of
of
course.
bribery.
Of course, you gotta look good for the camera.